Okay, so you can't hear me chewing.
We're live.
We're live.
Okay, we are live. Yes, we are. Okay, in your packet in the agenda, the first item was the approval of the minutes from the June 2, 2020 special call meeting. If you've had time to review those, do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
A motion to approve, you'll have a second. You have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Old business. Second reading of an ordinance 20-03, amending the 2019-20 budget. Ordinance 2019-07, Amendment 1. Greg, or you or John have that one? Which one of you?
I got it. Whereas this, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Whereas the city council wishes to amend the 2019-2020 budget to more accurately reflect anticipated revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year in order to document authorization for expenditures in excess of the original budget and appropriations, establish the availability of funds for transfer to the city's capital account. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Calvert City, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the 2019-2020 budget ordinance number 2019-05 hereby is amended to reflect the foregoing modifications as follows. Okay. Estimated fund balances at the beginning on June 30, 2019. For the general fund, we're 7,111,516 as amended. Capital projects was 1,591,912 as amended. Special revenue fund was 781,571 as amended. Estimated, revenues, property taxes were 1,232,000 as amended. Payroll tax was 1,495,000 as amended. Licenses and permits, all of this under general fund, was 1,217,000 as amended. Intergovernmental revenues went to 51,500. Fines and forfeits, 1,500. Charges for services, 109,000. Other revenue, 183,000. Total estimated revenue for general fund was 4,289,000. Under capital projects fund, the other revenue was 450,000 as a, sorry, that didn't change. And in fact, the fund, the total available resources for capital projects was $2,041,912. And the special fund revenue fund for total resources available were $970,821. For estimated appropriations under general fund, general government went to 1,007,000, police 1,035,000, fire 155,000, street 738,000, sanitation 280,000, parks 470,000, airport 35,500, fire training center 81,000, cemetery 37,000. Under capital fund projects, general government went to 93,700, police went to 26,000, fire went to 245,000, street went to 233,000, parks went to 18,400, airport went to 536,000. Under special revenue fund, the police went to 62,100, fire went to 11,000, and street went to 423,000. I'm sorry. What?
Hi, Kevin. Kevin's here now.
Okay, good. All right.
Hello all.
Okay. So total estimated appropriations for the general fund went to 3,838,500. For capital projects fund went to 1,152,100, and for special revenue fund went to 496,100. So the we had in the general fund excess revenues over appropriations of 450,500. In capital projects we were under by 702,100, and in special revenue fund we were under by $306,850. Transfers in under the general fund went to $1,562,016, and under capital projects it went to $1,462,016. Net change in the fund balance under general fund decreased by $1,111,516. Capital projects fund increased by $759,916. And special revenue fund decreased by $306,850. Estimated fund balances at year end for the general fund was $6,000,000. for this capital projects fund was $2,351,828. And the special revenue fund was $474,721. And there were no changes in the water and sewer budget. That's it.
And this is for the adoption of
I will
Make a
make a
move.
motion to adopt.
the 2019, 2020 budget ordinance, 2019-07, Amendment 1. This is for the adoption. Do I have a motion to adopt?
Motion.
There's a motion to amend. Do I have a second?
A second.
Ms. Glenda?
Councilman Babcock,
Yes.
Councilman Colburn,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
yes,
Councilman Rao,
Yes.
Councilman Harrington,
yes,
Councilman Stokes.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is ordinance 20-04, establishing a personnel and pay classification plan and establishing compensation rates for employees and non-elected officials for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020, and ending June 30, 21. Greg, this has a big summary, but
We have a summary on this one. John's got it.
so let me
I got
just
it.
summarize.
Summary of an ordinance establishing a personnel and pay classification plan for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending on June 30th, 2021. Pursuant to KRS 83A.070 sub 2 and Calvert City Ordinance subsection 31.02 B and C, the city council has adopted a personnel and pay classification plan establishing compensation rates of the various classifications of employees of the city and non-elected city officials. The complete plan and ordinance adopting the same is maintained by the city clerk at City Hall located at 861 East Fifth Avenue, Calvert City, Kentucky. The undersigned attorney is licensed to practice law in the Commonwealth of Kentucky and hereby certifies that the foregoing is a summary of the ordinance of the city of Calvert City bearing the number and title identified above. And I don't have the number for it. So which would it be? 04?
2020-04.
2020-04. Summary of ordinance 2020-04.
make a motion, we approve it as presented to us.
second,
Okay, so we have a motion to adopt and a second. Any additional discussion? Okay, Ms. Glenda?
Councilman Colburn,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
yes,
Councilman Rao,
Yes.
Councilman Harrington,
Yes,
Councilman Stokes,
yes,
Councilman Babcock,
Yes.
all in the affirmative.
And then ordinance number 2005, adopting the city of Calvert City, Kentucky's annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2021 by estimating revenues and resources and the appropriation of funds for the operation of city government. You have that?
Okay,
Greg?
here goes. Yeah, I've got it. Whereas the city council of the city of Calvert City, Kentucky has reviewed the budget proposal of the mayor and has developed a budget for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending June 30, 2021 in anticipation of the financial needs of the city. And whereas the city council of the city of Calvert City, Kentucky has reviewed and approved the proposed budget of the Board of Public Utility Commissioners for the city's municipal water and sewer system. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Calvert City, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the annual budget for the city, including the city's municipal water and sewer system for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending June 30, 2020, hereby is adopted as follows. I'll read each column and tell you what those figures are for the general fund, capital projects, and special revenue funds. Estimated fund balances as of June 30, 2020, general fund, 6 million. Capital projects, 2,351,828. Special revenue funds, 474,721. Estimated revenues, property taxes are $1,083,000. Nothing, that's for general fund. Nothing in capital projects, nothing in special revenue funds. Payroll tax is $1,300,000. Nothing in capital projects, nothing in special revenue. Licenses and permits, $1,089,000. Nothing in capital projects, nothing in special revenue. Intergovernmental revenues, $45,080. Nothing in capital projects, $50,350 in special revenue. Fines and forfeits, $1,000 general fund, nothing in the other two columns. Charges for services, 108,000, and nothing in capital projects or special revenue. Other revenue, 112,600 in the general fund, capital projects, 850,000, special revenue funds, 116,000. Total estimated revenue, general fund of $3,738,680. Capital projects is $850,000. Special revenue funds is $166,350. So total of resources available for in the general fund are $9,738,680. Capital projects is $3,201,828. Special revenue funds is $641,071. For estimated appropriations, general government, we've got $1,246,000. Capital projects is $415,000, nothing in special revenue. For the police, general fund is $1,040,151. For capital projects, $26,000. For special revenue funds, $141,839. For fire, $172,600. Capital projects, $240,000. Special revenue funds, $11,000. Street is $920,792. Capital project is $200,000, nothing in special revenue. Sanitation is $342,125, nothing in either of the other two columns. Parks, $498,715. For general fund, capital projects are $887,500, nothing in special revenue. Airport is $131,000 general fund, $300,000 in capital projects, and $0 in special revenue. Fire training center is $84,000 in general fund, nothing in either of the other two columns. Cemetery, $50,000 in general fund, nothing in the other columns. Nothing under beautification. Total estimated appropriations, general fund, $4,479,983. Capital projects, $2,068,500. And special revenue, $152,839. Excess revenues over or under appropriations. We were under $741,303 in general fund, under $1,218,500 in capital projects, and over $13,511 in special revenue. Transfers out of general fund are $175,000, nothing in either of the other two columns. Net change in fund balances for general revenue is $916,303. For capital projects, it's $1,218,500. And for special revenue funds, it's $13,511. Estimated fund balances at as of June 30, 2021. General fund, $5,083,697. Capital projects, $1,133,328. And special revenue is $488,232. For water and sewer, estimated fund balances as of June 30, 2020 is $900,000. Estimated revenues from operations is $2,037,000. Reimbursements, $2,604,250. Total estimated revenues, $4,641,250. Total resources available, $5,541,250. Estimated expenditures, operating are $1,622,350. Depreciation, $590,000. Capital and debt retirement, $3,065,100. Total estimated expenditures, $5,277,450. Revenues under expenditures, depreciation is, excess revenues over and under expenditures are a negative $636,200. Depreciation is $590,000, and the net decrease to the bank is $46,200. Estimated fund balance as of June 30, 2021 is $853,800. There you go. That's it. Did you hear me, Lynn?
Yeah, I heard you. I'm looking at my sheet, because what I had in my packet was a 2019-20 water sewer budget. I didn't see the other one in my packet.
Oh.
Well, I was
Sure.
trying to find it, but it's okay. Wasn't much variance from last year's budget. I followed the same numbers, but here's just a few $1,000s from last year's budget in water sewer. Okay, well, this will equal the adoption of the budget. Let's go through and get it introduced, and we'll talk about any questions we might have. Do I
Make
have
a
a
motion to introduce.
motion to introduce? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Anything you want to discuss in that budget that we missed? Okay, Ms. Linda, if you'll call the roll.
I said, Jean, did you make that motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Stay awake, Linda. Stay with us.
I know.
I know it's your bedtime. I understand, but stay with us.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
Councilman Rao,
Yes.
Councilman Harrington,
Yes.
Councilman Stokes,
Yes.
Councilman Babcock,
Yes.
Councilman Colburn.
Yes.
They are all in the affirmative.
Thank you very much. Okay, under the new business, there's a consideration of an approval for a revision to the Calvert City procurement policy. John, you have that one?
Yes, sir. This was, actually, Greg, this was something you were working on, correct?
Yes, but I don't have it in front of me. It
Okay.
didn't come, it's,
The change in the language is reflected in that we have not utilized it. Greg, you can probably paraphrase faster than I could, but we don't utilize the negotiations after bid process, and we have that ability. If all bids are refused, we can enter into negotiations. And this would actually make the change so that we could actually move on and engage in negotiations if the bids were all rejected, correct?
yes, there was a big conversation on the city attorney's listserv last week about the fact that if all bids are rejected or if we receive no bids, the law will allow us to negotiate a contract. However, most cities had painted themselves into a corner with their own procurement policies saying we're going to directing the procurement officer to let the bid to the lowest responsible or responsive, not responsible, lowest responsive bidder. Well, that just puts another link in the chain that you have to follow. So this gives us a little more flexibility that if we get a bunch of bids and none of them are something that you want to take, or if we don't get any bids, then it allows us to go ahead and start negotiating a contract or try to find somebody to take that contract rather than going through a whole bid procedure again. If we don't want to, you can if you want to, but you don't have to. So that was the purpose. This is just to allow us to take advantage of the current status of the law.
Well, okay, so if in a situation where can I ask questions yet? I guess I need to be
Sure,
quiet.
go ahead, yeah.
Has this been introduced?
No,
Yeah.
you can ask questions anyway.
It's not an ordinance. It's a policy.
Okay. So currently, we don't, would it be by a violation of our procurement policy to go and seek somebody?
If it's over 30,000, statute set it at 30,000 and we revised our policy accordingly. If the contract price is over 30,000, we have to bid it. If it's under 30,000, we have a different process. Depends on the amount, and certain different employees have different amounts that they can go purchase, and up to above a certain amount. I don't know what it is, maybe 10,000 or something like that. You have to get multiple proposals, or you have to go out and find multiple sources. But what we're really talking about here is the big contracts over 30,000. We're talking about the bid process for contracts over 30,000.
Well, I still don't, I guess I don't grasp the real change.
The change is the way, and I don't have the blame thing. I've got 2 pages of it. I don't have 1 page. I mean, I've only got 2 pages. I don't have the rest of it. But originally, well, yeah, look in the procedure section. This is not. No, it's not. I just don't have it. I don't know. Do you guys have full copies of the procurement policy in your packets?
I do.
Yeah, there's a red line
Well-
at the bottom of,
That's the changes right there, the red lined items.
yeah, it talks about
Yeah.
unless no bids are received. Yeah. It's not a lot, but there's new language.
I just
in there
simply don't
about-
have it. Oh, maybe I can get, wait, I've got a computer here. Maybe I can pull it up on.
You sent
Okay.
it to us in an email, Greg.
So in the case where we reject all bids then the procurement officer goes out and either rebids or proceeds to negotiate purchase. If there's a negotiated purchase amount, it still goes in front of the council if it's this big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I mean, so really it's just an opportunity to go out and try to beat the bushes a little bit.
It gives you the ability to actually go
Right.
into negotiations as opposed to rebid the
And
situation.
print out that other sheet. So
Service.
it's here, like,
Not me.
Is there a clock going off somewhere?
It's a clock somewhere.
Yes, I was trying to mute. I'm sorry.
Linda again.
I'll make a motion to accept the new
Not at my house.
procurement policy if that's what we need.
Do we have to introduce it first?
No, it's just a policy. It's not an ordinance.
Okay.
It's just
Oh,
it's your internal regulation for governing the city.
Okay, I'll second that.
And then we have a motion, the first and a second on the floor, the consideration to revise the procurement policy. All in favor of the revision, signify by saying yes.
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 Anyone who wishes not to do it, say no. And give 5 reasons why you want.
There you go.
You give the reject sign.
Yeah, whatever,
That one.
whatever. Okay, number 2 under new business. The first reading of an ordinance, but this is actually not a reading. This is for a consensus to make sure that we all are on the same page. Wanted to go the direction of repeating and replacing an ordinance related to cable TV. Greg,
Right.
talk about that.
Currently, well, Kentucky Constitution requires that utility providers have franchises in order to be able to use public right of way. Well, we have a franchise ordinance with Charter. Who's our cable provider?
Spectrum. now.
Spectrum now.
Yeah, we
Spectrum.
have a franchise ordinance that governs Spectrum right now. But we have also, utilizing our right of way, we have MediaCom, and we have somebody's trying to come through and they're just wanting to lay some lines through. Who is that, John?
Yes.
Comcast. We've got some other communications folks wanting to use right of way, and they're supposed to have a franchise. Also, electric power providers are also supposed to have a franchise. And we had one. We did all of this in 1998, but we gave them a 5-year franchise, and then we never looked at it again. So 2003 came and went, and they've been operating without a franchise now since 2003. So what you have before you are 2 ordinances that have been prepared by Linda Ain, who is our Kentucky guru for utility franchises.
Okay.
She prepared both of those ordinances. I spoke with her today. As far as the communications ordinance is concerned, we're not getting anything directly from the franchisee. We, the city, are not getting money directly from the franchisees because, as you're probably aware, cable TV providers have an option. We, as the city, have an option with regard to cable TV providers to either impose a franchise fee or to participate in the state's collection of a statewide franchise fee, and we get a proportionate share. Linda has done the math, says at this point, Calvert City is better off to participate in that statewide program. It alleviates our need to run the thing, and it also provides a greater cash flow for Calvert City from our existing cable providers and probably from our other cable providers, from the other people who are running lines through Calvert City. What I would ask you to do is take those ordinances, look through them. If you have specific questions about them that are technical in nature, send me an email to that effect, and I will either answer it or I'll find the answer and tell you, and I'll get you an answer to your question. But
There's more than one.
there's an electrical utility franchise, and there's a communications franchise ordinance. There's 2 different ordinances.
There's one cable it's relating to cable TV. I got that one.
Right. And then you should have one for electrical utility providers,
Electric
electrical
franchise.
power providers.
So those are the two.
Right.
Well, now we
Now we-
had we
Yes, we
had
did.
a franchise before and we repealed
Yes.
it. Why did we repeal
No,
it?
we didn't repeal the franchise. We repealed the franchise fee. Because we had a decision to make. And at that time, when that was back in, I don't remember, early teens, like 11 or 13, it was several years ago, we had the option of continuing to have Spectrum pay us a franchise fee or participating in the state program where the state just sends us a proportion of the fee that they collect. And it turned out better for us at that time. They still have a franchise. They do have a franchise. They just don't have a franchise fee payable directly to us.
Last month, Gene, we received $3,054.02. So that's what we're getting each month.
Every month.
It varies a little bit, but not much.
So what Linda would like is for you guys to take a look at it. If it's okay with you, she wants to run it by the providers. She deals with these same providers every day. She would like to run it by the providers, see if they have any serious objections to any of the provisions. If so, we'll negotiate that. And once we get it in final form, then let's read the ordinance so we don't have to have multiple first readings of the ordinance.
Okay.
The cable company.
Okay, is everybody okay with Linda Ames taking charge and administering this for us? She certainly has the expertise to do it.
Absolutely.
I'm fine with it.
I'm good.
I mean, it's been some good reading. I don't know. I'd hate to give it up.
Well,
And we'll find you something else to read. We'll find Kevin something else to read. Okay, then there you are, Greg. You have the consensus.
Okay, I'll tell. Well, do you guys, let me ask you this. Do you guys want me to tell Linda to go ahead and start talking to the providers now? Or do you want me to wait until you've had a chance to ask me more questions?
Anybody object to us talking to them now so we don't slow the process down?
I don't.
You can
Is that
always,
okay with
call-
y'all?
you can tell her. If you have a question directly to it, just call Greg and he can redirect that right to Linda.
Okay.
Okay, there you are.
If that's okay with everybody, can everybody kind of smile and shake and nod, just say, yeah, do that?
Sure.
Wait a minute.
Sure.
Come on,
Thank
Kevin.
you, Nita. Okay, all right, that's what I'll do then. I'll make
Greg-
myself a note right here on my
Greg-
phone to do that.
Greg, is
tomorrow.
that Greg?
Yes,
Brother, is that a self-portrait behind you there?
you like that?
Yeah, it looks just like it.
Gene Coburn knows who that is.
I do. I can't hang on a minute.
You can't spit the name out?
I can't see the thing, Greg.
Come on, I'm not that much older than you guys. You gotta know.
Well, I
That's
can't
Dan
see good enough.
Fogelberg. That's
Oh, I
Dan
wouldn't have got
Fogelberg.
that.
Home- That's his home free album.
I was
The days
thinking,
back when
I thought it was just a random person that comes to buy a dog from you and stays the night or stays the weekend. You could-
no, you got Dan Fogelberg and you got Seals and Crofts.
There you go.
Does that date me or what?
Recognize the giant guitar pick, Jeremy. You need to add something to your repertoire.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the agenda.
Sorry.
You stole that from Metropolis, right? The guy in front of the food giant or
Yeah,
whatever.
there
that
no
was.
telling where you got it. Yeah, probably stole it somewhere.
Big John's guitar pick.
So the first reading of an ordinance amending 5042 and 5044 of the Calvert City Code of Ordinances related to water service deposits and collections. Has to do with the way they're
Okay.
administering those collections. Okay, go ahead, Greg.
Right. Okay. This is the result of a lot of work, frankly, on the part of the water board. And those of you who have been on the council for a long time have been through this with me. We keep going back and forth on the way we try to collect delinquent water bills. And as council members, I don't know if you guys catch any flack about it or not, but right now, the way the ordinance reads is if someone doesn't pay their water bill, then their water gets turned off. And that water doesn't get turned back on until somebody pays that bill.
Right.
Well, it works pretty good. However, when you've got renters that go off and they don't pay their bill, or if you've got somebody that sells their house while they have an unpaid water bill and the next person buys the house, but they can't get their water turned on because the previous owner didn't pay their bill, it creates unrest. And so
Creates hard feelings. For you, yeah.
it creates hard feelings.
Yeah, it's bad
And
feeling.
so I hear in your voice that the mayor gets calls about that. In any event, we have, here's what we're doing. I'm not doing anything. The water board is suggesting that we change the ordinance to basically require a deposit enough to pay about a month's usage for these various size services. So if somebody runs off and doesn't pay their bill, we've got enough deposit to come close to paying a month's charges and not require the next unrelated party to pay that bill before they can get water service. So under 5042, you'll see for a 5/8 inch by 3/4 inch service, they want a $150 deposit. 3/4 inch, 200, 1 inch, 500, 1.5 inch service, 1,500. And for a 2 inch service, 3,000. And if you want more than that, it's $5,000. You're talking about huge industry if you're talking about service of that size. Then, in the event any monthly charges remain unpaid for 30 days after rendition, and if the delinquent persons have not been approved by the general manager for an payment arrangements, and I'll explain that here when we get to the next section, then they're going to turn your water off, and it'll only be reconnected when you meet the requirements of section 50.44. And here's what 50.44 says. The charges will be billed monthly. They'll be payable within 15 days after they're rendered. If not paid within that 15-day period, a 15% penalty gets attached. That's the same thing. That's not changing. That's what it's been forever. If the 15th day falls on a weekend, then you go to the next Monday. If any bill, together with the 15% penalty, remains unpaid for 30 days, an additional $35 penalty gets attached, and that philosophically is to help pay the cost of going out and turning off and turning on water. It's just to help reimburse the Water and Sewer Board for what they have to do. And their service will be, and at that point, service will be discontinued as otherwise directed by 42. Now, wait a minute, guys. The one that I'm looking with is not the, oh yeah, it is. Notwithstanding the foregoing directive, if the unpaid bill is only for 1 month's water usage and that bill exceeds the highest monthly water bill at such location over the preceding 12-month period by a factor of not less than 3. Okay, so what they're saying is if something's gone wrong, you've got a leak, something has happened, and you've got a huge water bill for 1 month, and it's 3 times your normal bill, then that customer can sign an agreement with the city to pay those charges and penalties in 6 equal monthly installment payments, beginning with the original due date of the bill. So that means starting right now. And in those cases, water service won't be discontinued at that location for so long as that installment payment is made timely, as those 6 installment payments are made timely, and all other bills and charges are paid in accordance with the terms of the ordinance. Okay? Did everybody understand that? They're trying to make room for the unusual situation where somebody's got a big bill and they need some time to pay it.
Okay, I'm just curious about
All
one thing. Say if somebody skips out, hate to use that word, but skips out on their bill,
Yes.
what if they did then go to another residence in the city and try to pay the deposit and sign up for a new service? Is there some way to make them pay for that previous bill?
They've not addressed that. They've not addressed that. But what they have addressed is someone, a member of that person's family or a business that they own cannot come and make application for service at that same location. But they haven't said,
It might
but
just.
they haven't said, go ahead.
It might be, with Calvert City being as small as it is, it might not even be an issue, but it might be something to think about.
Yeah, look at subparagraph C. Do you have it in front of you, Nita?
I don't, I've got it on my phone, but
Well, here's what it says. In the event, in any event, when water service to a customer is discontinued for non-payment, service will be reinstated only upon the earlier of payment of all outstanding delinquent bills, penalties, and charges for service then due from such customer and reinstatement of the original deposit, or 2, upon application for service at such location by any entity other than the delinquent customer and not materially owned or controlled by the delinquent customer or the owner of the property at the time the delinquency occurred. So this thing is aimed at the property, not the person. You make it, I mean, that they didn't actually, I don't recall them talking about that. Nita, maybe they need to.
I wondered
But
if you,
Well, you need to make the real good point. You wouldn't want the person having a water bill delinquent $50 on Cedar Street, then moving to Chestnut and getting another $50, then moving to Cherry, gets another $50. You should stop that the first time.
I was thinking, can you read that first sentence again?
The one that I just read,
Yes.
Okay.
You addressed it that
in
first
any
sentence, I
event,
think.
in any event, when water service to a customer is discontinued for non-payment,
Period.
service will be reinstated only upon the earlier of, and then there's 2 conditions. One is payment of all outstanding delinquent bills, penalties, and charges for services then due from such customer and reinstatement of the original deposit.
Okay,
So
at
that's
that
one
point-
way.
I was just thinking if you could go like at that point and, at this location or any other locations within the city.
Yeah, if
Well,
you
it
want to
says-
do that,
It says
I can
all
fix it.
outstanding bills,
Right.
all outstanding delinquent bills is what it says. I think that covers it right there, does it not?
Well, but that's talking about service that's been discontinued. Subparagraph C is talking about the discontinued service. It's not talking about service at a different location.
Okay. I mean, because
Oh,
we,
But that's easy. If you want to do that, that's easy. I mean,
Yeah, do it.
I can make that amendment.
Just do it.
Want me to do it?
Yes.
because we've
There-
had, this has been an ongoing problem for years.
Oh, yeah.
And we all know
Oh,
that.
yeah. It's,
And we've tried to address it, and I know people that's building new houses on some old vacant lots, and they have run into this problem. And we want new houses there instead of old vacant lots that
Mm.
are not upkeep or nothing like that. So I think this is a good move in the right direction.
okay.
Yeah, it is.
And basically what you want to do is disallow. Okay, let me ask you this. It gets complicated. We can say anybody with a delinquent bill can't get service somewhere else. Do you want to do it the same way we did here in the part 2 of that says the customer or any entity so by the entity other than the delinquent customer and not materially owned, controlled by the delinquent customer or the owner of the property at the time delinquency occurred.
Yes,
Saying-
because you
meaning
have a
family
child.
member.
Yeah, you have a child or a spouse or someone else making that application and get around that bill. Yes, she will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Well,
that one.
did it-
I like the way that one's, you're saying, I'm just thinking, if you just had that on at Jackson Purchase, when I worked there years ago, if you had an outstanding balance and you came in to sign up for a new service and put a new deposit down, there was a means to figure, that came up that you owed that balance. And you had to pay it before you got a new service even at another location. That's,
What if it was a child or the spouse or a business owned by that person? Did they, do you remember them? Did they
think it
address that
probably-
any?
I would hate to say, but I think a lot of times they went by the
Here's a
social
child.
security number.
It's gonna
But
be- it's gonna be harder.
Yeah, you could.
yeah,
I don't think you
Yeah.
figured that out, Greg. You wouldn't know until
It
the
is.
spouse
It-
did it or a child.
That's right. It would be difficult, if
Yeah, you wouldn't
it'd
be
be
able to.
difficult. If a spouse came in there and made application, you're not going to really, now, if it's at the same location, you can check into it. Cause you've got that queue that it's going to let you know these are the same people but if it's at a different location, it's going to be hard to police.
but
Yeah,
if you had the delinquency by person's name,
Yeah.
if Joe Smith had a delinquent bill and then he moved from Cedar Street to Cherry Street, it should come up that he's got a delinquent bill. He shouldn't just be able to pay a deposit.
Right.
Unless it's his spouse or his
Well, it's not
20-year-old
even-
son that lives with him.
Well, theoretically at another address, his son could probably sign up at a service, but Joe would still own that bill. I'm talking about the person who's responsible for the bill.
Okay. So I'm just needing to know how you want to draw it. Do you want to say that just the named customer can't get service at a different location? Or do you want to say the named customer, his family members, any entity that he owns a material interest in can't get service at a different?
I'd like to have something, but I think maybe go back. I mean, we could go ahead with this one, but maybe bring that up and let the water board address it or.
You want me to run it by the water board before I do anything else?
Lynn, what do you think?
Well, I've always thought that there is, just as a cost of doing business, bad debt. There is no safeguards to removing bad debt. You can set aside an allowance for that bad debt. You can fund the bad debt you're going to write off, but there's no way you can get any legal measures complete to take care of all of it without putting such a burden on the staff that they can't get anything done for being the burden by some regulatory process that has to be used one time every 6 months or something.
Yeah, I'm just
I
thinking.
think- I think that, Greg, to simplify, that I would be comfortable saying that if it's a spouse or a member of the immediate family, period, we're not going to turn that service on for you.
Well, a member of the
Immediate
customer's family?
Yes, the immediate family of the delinquent bill.
Okay, okay, but as the guy who's drawing this, if it's the son, if it was my dad that didn't pay his bill,
But if you're living under your
I-
dad's roof, if you're
Yeah,
living under your
that's
dad's roof, that's what I'm talking about. Not if you're moved
But-
out. Immediate family
yeah,
right
that's
into
the
the
part
household.
that's hard to.
I
yeah,
know it
but
is.
that's
We
the
can't,
part
and
that's
you're not
hard
going
to
to get it.
police.
You're not going to. So what have we put there?
Yeah,
It's just going to be a burden on the staff. That's all it's going to do.
Yeah, I'm not even interested in the family of the other people. I'm just talking about the person responsible for the bill. He
That's what I'm
shouldn't
talking
be
about too.
able- He shouldn't be able to sign, he or she shouldn't be able to sign up for another service with a delinquent bill at another location in the city. Only,
That is correct. That should be the way it should be. There's no way you can police the other stuff. I agree, Anita. I think that's the way it should be. That person should not be able to go get water over here somewhere else when they owe this bill. And I think that should be in there.
Can they now?
so just whoever the named customer is.
yes, a person, yes.
Can a person do that now?
Yeah.
So it's only right now, as this policy is, it's against the property, not the people.
Correct.
Right.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
would correct that.
Correct.
And it would keep them.
At least it'll pass the burden off of someone buying the property who would have no way of knowing that there's a water or sewer bill unpaid. If you do a title on the work of the property, you don't necessarily know unless the city's filed in the levy on the property.
Yeah, and they don't
there's
do
a water
that.
sewer
That would be cost prohibitive. We don't
Yeah.
do that.
And
And
what,
the bad PR guys there is someone buys a house in Calvert, they move in, come in to turn the water on. Well, we can't turn your water on the new house you just bought because the previous owner didn't pay his bill. They had no knowledge of that bill being out there. They're sort of miffed that they're having to pay it to get the water turned on. And that's just a bad PR move for the very beginning of a relationship with a new resident.
and what
Welcome
I'm,
to Calvert City.
Yeah, it needs to go away. You're right, Gene.
what I'm talking about would also, it would protect the people that own the property that are renting it out. That if somebody rented, say from Joe Smith, they rented his house, left a bill there. And then they moved to Fred Jones's house and left a bill there. If we do what we're talking about, that person is responsible and he can't have another service in the city until he pays that, then you're gonna keep landlords from doing that too.
Yeah, so now the tenants are going to come up with the deposit. And so your typical residential meter is, I don't know, half-inch meter. What's the deposit for a half-inch meter? We said
Yeah, it's about $175.
175. Is that what it was?
150 for the
150 for
the
five.
standard one is 150 for the standard residence.
So a person renting an apartment that's needing to get water in their name is going to have to come down and fork over 150 bucks to get the water turned on.
Well, most of them pay a deposit to rent a place as well, and that's how the renters protect for damage.
I understand, but 150 bucks for a water deposit, I don't know what you lay out for utility deposits, typically speaking, what they are.
That's pretty close to what an electric deposit or a gas deposit is as well, Gene. I checked into that this week myself when we got this, and those both are for renters, most of the time they're higher than if you was going to be a
Right.
resident,
Well-
you're going to be a property owner. For renters, some of them, like Jackson Purchase of West Kentucky, if you're a renter, you have to pay a higher deposit.
And also they get that deposit back when they move or it pays their last bill. It's not like we're keeping it, you know.
Well, I will add that provision to it and I'll prepare a summary for the next time we get together.
Now,
Does that
something I didn't understand. Now, this is proposed by the water board. They've seen this?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, they've
Wanna
been
make
working on
I've
sure
this
seen
a
it
long
lots of
time.
times.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
this
this
is
is-
their,
this-
They've
this
seen
is
it a
their
lot.
proposal and coming to us for final
Yeah.
approval. Okay.
And
That's what I was thinking of.
it's been what, Greg, it's two-year discussion with them?
Oh, it's kind of a never ending discussion.
Yeah, it has been.
But
sort of a
yes,
long-
on this round, yeah, a couple years.
And the deposit, this new deposit thing, that's just moving forward. They're not going to try to retro any current meters, right?
Right. No,
Yeah.
that's right. You just, you can't go back and get deposits from people who haven't paid them. So
Oh, come on.
yeah,
How much-
Citywide,
you might want to, but you can't.
$150
How much
deposit.
is the water sewer deposit now?
Right. What?
How much is it now, the deposit?
There's
There's
Right
not,
not
now-
one. There, you only pay a deposit if you are a renter now.
Okay,
And
okay,
it is
If you're a homeowner,
150.
you don't pay a deposit.
okay.
And also, that's part of the complication is that people coming in saying, well, we're buying the property, so we shouldn't have to pay a deposit. What they were buying is they had contract for deed situations. There aren't deeds transferred. They're just making rental payments and someday you may get the property 25 years from now. Well, that's not going to happen, you know. It's just a way to escape that fee payment up front. So this will resolve that problem for them too. Okay, anything else on the water sewer?
okay, so can we go ahead and have,
Okay.
you to have a first reading with amendment?
I'm okay with that.
Let, with that change,
You ready to read it,
resume
Greg?
that change.
Mhm.
Sure. I'll read it and we'll see if, as long as it's not too big of a change. If that's not a very big change, well, I'll try to keep it brief. So now therefore be it ordained by the city. Can I read it, Lynn?
Sure you can.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Ken.
Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Calvert City, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that sections 50.42 and 50.44 of the Calvert City Code of Ordinances hereby are repealed, and in their stead, the following ordinances are enacted. 50.42 deposit required. All applicants for water or sewer service after the effective date of this section shall pay a deposit to secure the payment of monthly charges as follows: 5/8 inch by 3/4 inch service, $150. 3/4 inch service, $200. 1 inch service, $500. 1.5 inch service, $1,500. 2 inch service, $3,000. Over 2 inch service, $5,000. In the event any monthly charges remain unpaid for a period of 30 days after rendition of any monthly bill and no arrangements for payment have been approved by the general manager pursuant to section 50.44A, the applicable deposit shall be applied toward the payment of the delinquent charges, penalties, and any other sums due and owing to the city relative to such account. At such time, service shall be promptly discontinued and shall be reconnected only in accordance with the provisions of section 50.44. Okay. Section 50.44, billing, delinquency, and disconnection. Subsection A, the rates and charges set forth in section 50.43 shall be billed, and all bills for such service shall be payable within 15 days after rendition. If not paid within such 15-day period, a penalty equal to 15% of the face amount of the bill shall become immediately due and payable. Provided, however, that if the 15th day shall fall upon a Sunday or legal holiday, then the face amount of the bill shall be paid on the next secular day, which is not a holiday. If any such bill, together with the penalty of 15% thereof, shall remain unpaid for a period of 30 days after rendition, the additional penalty of $35 shall become immediately due and payable, and service shall be promptly discontinued as otherwise directed by 50.42. Notwithstanding the foregoing directive, if the unpaid bill is for only 1 month's water usage and such bill exceeds the highest monthly water bill at such location over the preceding 12 months period by a factor of not less than 3, the customer may sign an agreement with the city to such charges and penalties in 6 equal monthly installment payments beginning with the original due date of such bill. In such cases, water service shall not be discontinued at such location only for so long as such installment payments are timely made, and all other bills and charges at such location are paid in accordance with the terms of this ordinance. Sub B, any attempted payment made by non-sufficient funds check will be considered unpaid for all purposes. In addition, a penalty of $20 will be added to any bill attempted to be paid by non-sufficient funds check, which penalty thereafter shall be considered a part of the required payment. Sub C, in any event when water service to a customer is discontinued for non-payment, service will be reinstated only upon the earlier of 1, payment of all outstanding delinquent bills, penalties, and charges for service then due from such customer and reinstatement of the original deposit, or 2, upon application for service at such location by any entity other than the delinquent customer and not materially owned or controlled by the delinquent customer or the partner or the owner of the property at the time the delinquency occurred, or any shareholder, member, partner, officer, director, agent, representative, employee, or family member within 2 degrees of consanguinity of any such person. Sub D, the general manager and or the board will consider customer complaints regarding bills for services and charges only when such complaints concern the accuracy of billing. Any customer disputing the accuracy of his or her bill shall have the right to a hearing before the general manager, at which time he or she may be represented in person and or by counsel or by other person of his choosing, and may present orally or in writing his or her complaint and contentions. Upon receipt of a request for a hearing, the general manager shall notify the office staff of the water and sewer department that such customer service not be discontinued, and the general manager shall have the authority to make a final determination of the customer's complaint with regard to the accuracy of his or her bill. Should the customer disagree with the general manager's determination, the customer may present his or her complaint to the Board of Public Utility Commissioners at its next regular meeting, at which the Board of Public Utility Commissioners shall review the determination of the general manager, may affirm or amend same in its discretion. In any event, the customer service shall not be discontinued until the issue finally is determined by the Board of Public Utility Commissioners, and then only upon the order of the board. Sub E, no person other than the general manager, the superintendent, or their designee shall tamper with any water meter or other asset of the city utilized in the distribution of water or collection of sewage. Any violation of this provision shall constitute criminal mischief punishable in pursuant to the provisions of KRS 512.020 at SEC and section 50.03A of this ordinance. In addition to any prosecution of the referenced violation, any customer found by the general manager, the superintendent, or the Board of Public Utility Commissioners to have reconnected utility service without authority of the general manager, the superintendent, or their designees after such service has been discontinued for non-payment shall be disconnected and shall be assessed the sum of $50, which sum is calculated to compensate the city for the added cost of additional disconnection and shall be paid before reconnection is authorized or made. There you go.
Okay, just for the introduction, with ordinance amending 5042 and 5044, the Calvert City Code of Ordinances related to water, sewer deposits, and collections. Do I have a motion to introduce?
I'll
I'll
make
make
a
Vendor,
motion.
go ahead.
Okay, I have a motion to introduce. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Clinton?
Councilman Rao,
Yes.
Councilman Harrington,
Yes.
Councilman Stokes,
Yes.
Councilman Babcock,
Yes.
Councilman Colburn,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
all in the affirmative.
Okay, Stephanie, are you ready to talk about the work related to the strategic plan?
I am. One second. Let me get my camera up. There we go.
Okay.
Hi, all.
Hello.
First of all, thanks for letting me join in your meeting this evening. For those of you who don't know, my name is Stephanie Brown, and I'm an urban planner with Chastain and Associates. I have had the pleasure and honor of being hired by you to help you with your updates to your comprehensive and strategic plans. So I'm very much looking forward to getting started on these projects. And as such, Nellen, you'll have to remind me, or John, did the council receive a draft of the survey in their packet?
So get electronically, I believe. You get it, get survey.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know where we were. Wanted to make sure we're all starting on the same
I
page.
received a copy of it. Blair sent me a copy electronically.
Okay.
I'll be sure they all get it.
We
Go
have
with it.
created a 51 question survey that covers 8 different sections of life in Calvert City. Respondent profile, quality of life, mobility, transportation, environmental, natural recreation resources, housing, economic development, community facilities, and land use, all of which meet the requirements of a comp plan for the state of Kentucky. So with those 51 questions, we want to start releasing that to the public tomorrow. We'll rely on you to release it to your networks and your friends and family and anybody that has access to the interwebs. And if not, we will also be providing paper copies to be picked up at City Hall. So those who do not have access to those type of things will have access to the survey. We plan on leaving the survey open for a month, at which point we'll shut it about July 10th so that I have a couple weeks to sift through all of the responses to those 51 questions. And then we plan on hosting a workshop with a Plan Commission and Council to kind of go through the goal setting process. I know you went through it back in 2014, and good for you. You've accomplished a lot of those goals, and it's time to look forward and either reestablish some goals and or create new ones based on the feedback from the community. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Really just wanted to introduce myself awkwardly through a Zoom meeting. And yeah, any questions?
Did we get a copy of that survey?
I don't see it.
If not, we can get one to you.
I don't think
I-
well, I know I haven't reviewed it.
Kevin said, no, y'all didn't. I got a copy. Blair sent me a copy, but it came directly from her, from Stephanie. So she probably just hasn't sent it out to everybody yet.
I can either share my screen or I can give you a sampling if you wanted to look at it now. Or we can just email it out tonight and I can wait for feedback prior to posting it.
I would like to see it.
Okay.
If we could send that to us, that would be fabulous.
Sure. And I welcome any feedback and comments from it too. Blair, just for your note, I updated it a little bit today, just kind of massaged it to make it a little more readable and a little more friendly for users. So I'll send you an updated copy before you send it to council.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Stephanie?
So when will we get it, the copy?
I will email the updated copy to Blair this evening and then whenever she gets it to you. So probably this evening or first thing in the morning.
Okay.
About 2 a.m.
You're welcome.
That'll work.
About 2 a.m. Yeah.
I'll have to let the dog out about that time.
There you are. Okay. Any other question for Stephanie? Stephanie, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Okay, now we have the audit report. David Hampton, Kemper CPA. is here to tell us good news. Are you ready, David?
I'm ready. I just have to wake
Let's
up.
be a little more cheerful about it, brother.
Let me get the, get my eyes opened up here.
This is not church. Don't give me that nonsense. Pay
Oh,
attention.
no, I thought I heard some people preaching there.
Say, that's your dreaming.
All
Okay,
right.
I just, let me just, here's the one thing that as you know, we've been following a long time, and that's the pension cost
Uh-huh.
and the changes transpiring in the government. Tell me where that's really actually is now within the Commonwealth and how you see that continuing to unfold in the next 4 or 5 years. Because one thing that I'm confident that this council wants to do is to make sure that its employees and the integrity of that pension is protected at the highest level it can be protected. But in order for us to do that, we sort of have to start gaining our footing to know what we need to do to prepare for tomorrow. Can you help
Okay.
us, tell us where we are with that and what you're thinking?
Okay, well, as noted in the audit report, based on the numbers from July 1st, 2018 report, there was an outstanding liability of 4.65 million. Now this is both city and water and sewer. It was funded at 53%, 53.5% as of the same period on the for the other post-employed benefits. There was another $1.4 million liability, and it was funded at 57.6% at that time. So compared to the year before, it remained funded approximately the same. The other post-employee benefits funding actually improved from 52.4 to 57.6. So it's holding somewhat steady.
What's that annual jump? What's that annual jump happening to be?
Pardon?
What's the increment, David, happening to be from year to year with that? I know it's holding steady percentage wise. Is there a figure there? Is it 500,000 a year or 750,000 a year? Is that what we're promoting?
Let's see. Are we talking about what our expense is?
What our liability is?
What your liability is? Your liability increased. Let's see. Your liability increased from 4.65 million from July 1st, 2018 measurement to 5.44 million as of July 1st, 2019.
So about 800,000?
So you picked up about $800,000 increase. That's on the pension side. On the other post-employed
And that's over a 12-month period?
That's over a 12-month period. The other post-employed benefits, that one is held steady for you.
Okay.
It's about the same for both years.
Okay.
And it's held steady. Now, what's going to happen this next for the July 1st, 2020 measurement, that remains to be seen to see how much their investments recover from the pandemic that's affected worldwide. So far we've seen a pretty good recovery from most of the losses, but we're not there yet. And the downside with pensions is you're still making those payments, irregardless of what the market's doing. So when the market drops suddenly, you're pulling more of your investment dollars out to make those payments.
Right.
So you've
So your
really got to
potential's
recover
less than every
more
year.
than that.
Yeah.
So, but right now it's
Okay.
been running in the low 50s percentile for the non-hazardous, almost 50% for the hazardous.
So
on the
we can
pension side.
count on, looks like $800 to $1 million a year increase in that pension liability.
Potentially. potentially with no changes as it is. But now,
That's,
you know,
that's pretty conservative, I guess.
right. And
Okay.
of course, they have made some changes so far, but we're not going to see the real effect of those changes for years to come.
Very good. That's what I wanted to know. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Al. Sorry,
Well,
thanks.
What is the
Stole my
bottom
thunder. I
line?
was going to talk to you about that anyway.
I mean, if you take a look at page 47 in your report. So this net position, anything less than 100%, if worse came to worse, the city would have to be liable for.
That net position, that your proportionate share of that liability, if you decided to walk away from the pension system as it is right now,
Okay.
that is your minimum liability to walk away from that.
Okay.
you're
So we
looking
went.
at-
So we took the top line 2019 and the non-has. We got a liability of $2.8 million, 53 of which is the net position of the fiduciary. So we would be, if we were to walk, we'd have to come up with that 47%.
No, you would have to come up with $2.8 million to walk away. That is just your proportionate share of the underfunded amount of the total pension system is 2.8% or 2.8 million, which is your 47% that it's underfunded.
Okay. So that number in the third column over is the unfunded portion.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Well, I mean, not thank you for, but thanks for explaining it.
Yeah, so I knew
Thanks for
that
bad
wasn't
news,
going to be
David.
real good news.
Thanks for being the bad news guy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the auditors usually are, unfortunately. All right, so if we want to, we can get to our audit report. Of course, y'all all know me. I'm here to present your audit report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019. First off, again, we thank you for allowing us to be your auditors. We certainly appreciate that. And I also want to thank the staff, Glenda, John, Roger, and all the staff there for all their assistance in helping us get the audit performed. We certainly appreciate their efforts, and it makes our job a lot easier when they work with us. So we certainly want to thank those. So now if we'll turn to our audit report, does everybody happen to have a copy of it or a PDF of it in front of them?
Anybody has a copy, David?
Okay.
Paper copy.
All right.
Please
Good.
deliver to me this afternoon.
Okay.
It magically appeared at the house.
Yeah.
All right, so your audits consists of our auditor's report. You've got a management discussion and analysis. You have your required financial statements and notes. And then you also have required and other supplemental schedules included in that. And so that's kind of an overall view of your audit report. So on page 1 is our independent auditor's report. In the second and third paragraph, we discuss the responsibility of the city and our responsibilities as auditors. These financial statements are the responsibility of the city, and we're responsible for expressing an opinion on these statements. The sixth paragraph at the bottom of the page discloses our opinion, and as noted, we've determined that these financial statements are fairly presented in all material respect. This is known as a unmodified or clean opinion. On the next page, as noted in the seventh paragraph, we applied limited procedures to the required management discussion and analysis supplemental information on pages 3 through 10, the mayor's letter, the budget schedules on pages 45 and 46, and the pension and other post-employee benefit schedules on pages 47 through 50. This information was not an audit. Accordingly, we do not express an opinion on this information. And as noted in the ninth paragraph, we did apply auditing procedures to the other supplemental information on pages 51 and 52. This is your non-major funds, and determined that these statements are fairly presented in all material respect. That's our report on on your financial statements. You are required to include an additional statement in there, and this is known as our report on internal control of financial reporting and compliance with certain laws, regulations, contracts, and grant agreements. This is required by the governmental auditing standards. This is back on pages 53 and 54 at the back of your report. As noted in the second paragraph, our responsibility is to consider the city's internal control over financial reporting for the purpose of planning and performing our audit, and not for expressing an opinion on the city's financials or city's internal controls. Accordingly, for the purpose of this report, we are not expressing an opinion on your city's internal control. With that in mind, as noted in the fourth paragraph, we did not identify any deficiencies as material weaknesses, which we are required to report under under governmental auditing standards. In addition, as noted in the next paragraph on the next page, we did obtain reasonable assurance whether the city's financial statements are free of material misstatements. Sorry about that. We did perform tests for compliance with certain laws, regulations, contracts, and grant agreements. And as noted, we noted no instances of non-compliance or other matters that are required to be reported under governmental auditing standards. So that concludes our two reports on your financial statements. Did have just a few overall comments. So for the year, the city's net position actually increased $543,000. Your revenues in excess of expenditures. Your governmental activities increased $634,000. Now keep in mind, the city received $937,000 from the Riverport dissolution. So actually your net position probably would have decreased somewhat during the year. Your municipality was down about $91,000. That was primarily increases due to the pension and other post-employee benefits. Your unrestricted and restricted cash increased $936,000. Again, $937,000 was received from the Riverport. Your governmental was $919,000 increase. Your municipality increased $17,000. Your capital assets increased about $1.1 million during the period. You had construction and additions of about $2.4 million, less $1.3 million in depreciation. The governmental increased about $774,000. Municipality increased about $334,000. Your long-term debt increased $604,000. Of that, $437,000 of that related to the pension and other post-employee benefit obligations. In the city's general fund, your operating revenues exceeded expenses by $656,000 before transfers. Primarily, again, revenues greater than budgeted and operating expenditures came in less than budgeted. We already talked about the pensions and other post-employee benefits. And those concludes our report on your audit. Is there any questions, other questions for me?
Anybody have any questions for David? David, just from the city, you have a very professional staff who are diligent and quite responsive in their work. And I want you to know how much we appreciate the opportunity to work with your folks who, in our opinion, do an excellent job of giving us a real picture of who we are and how well we're doing. We rely on you immensely and just want you to know we have great confidence in you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that. We certainly enjoy working with your organization. You got a fine group there.
And Glenda's so
they-
good. You haven't picked up on the second set of books yet, have you?
I intentionally walk in there with my blinders so that I won't find it.
I knew you would. Okay, Glenda, I got you off the hook.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, anything else for David? Thank you much.
All right, well, once again, I appreciate the opportunity to work with y'all, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, Ashley, Sierra, any one of us, and we can't, again, if we don't know the answer, we'll find the answer for you.
It's okay. Thank you much. Thank you very much.
All right, well, good night, everyone.
Okay.
Good night.
Right.
Oh, no, you have to stay on, David. You don't have to get off because we're finished. You hang around.
All right, I'll stick around.
Yeah, good. I want to talk to you later, about 2.
All right.
Other business. We need a marketing director report. Is our marketing director available?
She's sending us messages right now. She emailed us the survey.
I'm here. I just was not prepared and I'm eating salad.
Okay. But
So give
while
me
you're
1
getting
second
prepared,
while I fall a small swallow this.
we say just hold on a minute, Blair. I'll go right down to Hampton and let them talk about the airport.
Okay.
That'll give you time to swallow your food.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, glad to join you all again this evening. As last time, please let me know if internet cuts out or anything like that. I did send John kind of a quick overview of the things to discuss for this evening. Still looking at 3 projects. We'll start with the troublesome one first, being the fuel facility. Hanson and KDA, we continue to be in communications with one another concerning TPM, the contractor, and the current change order that has been submitted. John was on a call with us last week with KDA, and the state is taking a pretty firm stance on they will not be amending the current grant amount above what it is currently. They are very, they're holding very fast to that. Kind of just to give you a rough idea, there's approximately $10,000, I believe, left on that grant that has not necessarily been allocated towards anything. The contractor is seeking a change order, a reduced change order now for $37,000. As I mentioned, KDA is holding fast to that they are not going to amend that grant. So they're in communications with TPM, the contractor, to see if they can kind of negotiate that. With that, John, I believe it was sent to you today. The state sent over the FY21 rollover contract, which is for this fuel project. That has to do with the amount that's left on the contract to be paid out. It's just a formality that they have to do. So that was sent to you all that they're going to be needing signatures on for that to be sent back. I do not have that number in front of me. John, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's what, like 165?
133, isn't it?
166.
166. So that's how much is being rolled over to this next fiscal year. I'll kind of jump down to the T hangers. KDA is still working on programming and scheduling. It appears that they have the funds in place to fund the infrastructure portion of that project.
What they told me.
So with that, something that the council will need to be taken into consideration is that the city would be responsible for paying for the hangars themselves. So that will be a state local project. KDA has not given us the full-blown go-ahead on that yet, although they are quickly, that's coming up on the schedule very quickly. They're really starting to push for that. Actually, they're looking at potentially trying to lump that in with the runway overlay project, which I will discuss here in a minute. So once we kind of get the go-ahead on that, we will need to send a professional services agreement. I know we sent one to you. I don't know that was ever executed. We'll get that as well as the grant application. And Greg, I'll let you know, I don't know if you've seen it. The state has changed their grant application form to try to address some of the language in that. They have amended that form to try to address your all's unique situation. So hopefully that will cut out any legality issues with that.
Is that what you sent to me today, John?
Yes.
Okay.
The third project being the runway overlay project. I sent John earlier today the professional services agreement for this project. The state is looking to do an overlay for the entire runway, which will consist of an asphalt overlay as well as a pavement remarking for that. The state has elected to fund this strictly through state funds through a state grant. It was eligible for some federal funding, but just due to some strings that are attached to that, the state has elected to go ahead and pay for that all out of state funds. The total grant amount for that project is right at $1 million. I actually believe it's $1 million flat for that. The professional services agreement, which will be the agreement for Hanson to complete the design with offer bid assistance, and then for the construction observation is a total of $146,771 and some change. With that, it's $76,000 and some change for the design and bid assistance portion. That will be a lump sum fee. And then for the construction observation, that is $70,612 and some change for the construction observation. That is in that professional services agreement that was sent that we will need signatures on. And as I had mentioned, this is going to be 100% state funded. So just like the fuel project, you all or the city will be paying for that and then submitting the reimbursement paperwork for that, just as the fuel project is going. The state is going really fast on this. They actually want us to advertise for bids the first part of July with an anticipated construction of early fall 2020 of this year. They want this project going real quick. And then if we lump the T-hangers in on that, that's going to be 2 projects going on out there towards the end of this year. Something to kind of make you all aware of with this overlay project, given the fact that it's going to be a straight overlay. The runway will be shut down for a period of time. We're estimating 21 to 30 days. So that's something that you might need to talk with the pilots out there, or if they have any questions, you can direct them to us. But the runway will be shut down. KDA has adopted the policy that once construction starts, it is a full closure. That includes weekends. They are not allowing weekend reopenings of airport anymore. It's once construction starts and the airport is shut down, the runway is shut down, it is shut down until the project is complete. So just want to kind of put that on your radar. Like I said, that's looking fall of this year, probably early fall of this year. And there will be probably about a month's worth of time that the runway will be shut down to traffic.
As far as reimbursement goes from the state, they've been pretty quick and pretty prompt about reimbursing us for any expenditures that we've actually been out. Generally, once we've submitted within 2 to 3 weeks, they usually have turned that money back around, Glenda.
Yeah, it's actually, probably within 2 weeks. They've had a quick turnaround.
Okay.
If there's any questions on any of those projects, feel free to let me know and we will keep you all updated. Like I said, the big ticket item for tonight for us is getting that professional services agreement signed so that we can officially go forward with starting and completing the design for that overlay so that we can get that out to bid.
Okay, good. Well, the timing of that, the early fall, is probably when we want to do some kind of open house in at the airport after that overlay is laid. Fuel tank should be in, everything should be looking good at that point. We get that thing out of the way, get it moving forward. Good. Good deal. Thank you very much.
No
How's
problem.
Tim doing? How's Tim doing?
He's doing good. Spoke with him last week. He was actually out in Tennessee. We sent him out to observe some concrete being poured. So he got out in the field a little bit. He said he was enjoying it.
Good for him.
Did you make him watch it dry as well?
That's what we told him. We're going to send you to do the hard stuff. We need you to just sit there and watch it dry for us. We don't care. That's it. Step on it, see if it's hard, but don't step on it too soon. So.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Now, Blair, we'll go back to you.
Maybe she-
Hi.
There she is.
All right. Sorry, I was eating my microgreens from my garden.
Your what?
My microgreens from my garden.
We should come get some of my microgreens because they're growing out of the box. I can't eat them that fast.
Just
I know,
living
I
off.
had to give mine away. So I'll be quick about it. What I've got, I did email you guys the questions that Stephanie had, so you can take a look at those after the meeting. As far as businesses here in Calvert, restaurant wise, we're almost all back open and going. China Wall opened up a couple weeks ago, and I know everybody was excited about that, and they're doing well. Also, Waffle House is our last one to fully reopen, and hopefully they'll be open on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. With Team Kentucky Lake, I sent a link to all of you. It's an opportunity for small businesses with employees less than 25 to apply for a one-time grant of up to $1,000. It's through a partnership between Kentucky Lake Economic Development and Kentucky Lake Tourism, as well as Kentucky Lake Chamber of Commerce. In the combination of that, they've raised, I think, almost $9,000 so far. Their goal is $25,000. So that would provide, up to 25 grants for small businesses. You can go on and donate if you feel the urge on teamkentuckylake.com, or that's where you can also apply for the grant. They opened it, I think we opened it Friday, and we've had, I think, 8 applications come in so far, so that's good. But we want to see more applications, and we would like to see more funds come in too. Let's see, Friday I got the IMBA report back, International Mountain Biking Association. And from that, I had one correction on it, so I sent it back to him for him to correct it before I send it out to you guys. It was really impressive, and I can't wait to share it with you all. There's a lot of opportunity in the area for biking, and it's really, really exciting. Once you see the report, you'll see what I'm talking about. I do want to give a shout out to the state park. They reopened just for takeout their restaurant on June 1st, and Garrett and I ordered a cheeseburger from there. Amazing, delicious. But they have got some things going on in there where the riding stable is. Terry, one of their employees, has created a sustainable garden, and every Saturday they are having a sustainability garden workshop. It's kid friendly. You can go on and go up there at any time between 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Terry is there working on the garden. I went up there last week and did some crafts with her, and it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Where they have it is in the riding stables within the gates there, and she has some amazing plans for the future for that area. Hopefully to even, like a sustainability garden, to be able to provide food for the park, and they can utilize what they grow there in the restaurant as well. So that is really awesome. And that is every Saturday in June from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This coming weekend is the Hobie Kayak Tournament. If you haven't watched the video that we shared on the Calvert Facebook page, watch it. They give Calvert City a shout out. And it's just a really good video. Next, let's see, June the 12th, I think. It's like the 12th or the 11th, I think. That's when our farmers market's going to start at Lakeland. with CADA. They're all involved in that farmers market, and that should be exciting. And that is on Thursdays. We moved the citywide yard sale to September because, obviously with the recent pandemic, we've had to make some changes. With the canceling of Maribration as well, that that was very sad news. I will say though that Cindy Riley has developed some shirts for Calvert City, and she's selling advertisements for the back of the shirts, and then we'll be handing out the shirts sometime soon. And they look good. They have our Calvert City logo and our tagline, "Great Life, Great Opportunity." And her and Wendy have been working on that together. The last thing, let's see, what else did I need to talk? Oh, the trail feedback. So Scott put up at the state park, Scott put up a informational box, and you take the paper off and you fill it out, and then if you're using the trails, and he's had it up for 2 weeks. His results have been great. I'm going to pull it up so that I can read it. So they averaged around 50 folks that have been using the trail. The average age range is from 6 to 74 years old. Mostly males from the age of 25 to 40. That was the bulk of it. The busiest time that they've seen when collecting the surveys is on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Primarily folks from Marshall County, but there's been a lot of logging in the surrounding counties and even farther out beyond that area. So that's really exciting news, and it's good to have that feedback so we can include it in our trail towns. That's all I have on my list. Is there anything else?
Oh yeah, we're not finished, Blair.
Blair, it's like way ahead, but I actually had a call today about the bazaar in December.
Yeah. So we usually open up in July, I think, is when we usually open it up for people. But you can go on our Facebook page, and it's already up there as an event. So if she goes on there and follows that, then she'll know whenever it's time to register.
Okay.
One thing that's going to be different and with the Christmas Bazaar this year is we are not going to be providing tables. They have to bring their own tables. When you have over 100 vendors, finding 100 tables is practically impossible. And then having a staff or, volunteers of a total of 3 taking down the tables is even worse. So we're just going to kind of put it across the board. Everyone provides their own tables, and most vendors are pretty used to doing that. So it should be okay.
Thanks.
Okay, of course, across the community, we have a few people who are really upset about not having a Maribration, not having a parade, not having activities in the park, and not having fireworks. There's some even considering having their own parade and having their own fireworks and having their own celebration, which is all fine. We don't mind people doing that. Having a parade might be a problem because they probably don't have a permit to do that. But if they don't have fireworks, they can shoot what they want. We just can't do it because of some issues related to the governor's quotas that he still has in place, and we're not going to move beyond those. We're going to do what we can to be as compliant as we surely can be. But there's a couple of things I think the council needs to know that Blair and I have been talking about for a while. And after we had to cancel our fireworks on the 4th, we began to look at other options where the people of the community could still enjoy fireworks, but not necessarily on that day. And the marina certainly is under the same dilemma because they want to have fireworks, can't because of the 4th and the same situation. But we've talked with the marina, and they want to partner with us. And we're going to consider moving our fireworks to the lake, on the lake, shooting them off the lake on Labor Day, and push that big time, particularly for organized labor in the area, and make it a big day of celebration for our union men and women who do so much for us and have made such contributions. We'll make those fireworks on that day to see if we can shoot them off and do something very special by having it in the lake. The effect of the lake fireworks is pretty phenomenal, and I think we'll see some dramatic change there. So we're talking to the marina. And we're also talking to Grand Rivers, because Grand Rivers gets a great seat seeing those fireworks and where they be shot. So we're in the process of putting that together, and Blair's doing a great job in handling that. And then on, what's today I gave you, Blair? 2 Fridays and Friday. What was that?
I think it was the 8th. I don't have my calendar. Let me see.
19th,
Anyway, whatever 2 Fridays and last Friday was,
19th.
19th of today.
Yes, the 19th.
19th in Calvert City will be proclaimed by the mayor to be Andy Bashir Day. On that day, we're going to be doing a video telling people in Calvert to say thank you to the governor for what he has done in trying to keep us safe and going the extra mile from time to time in providing the leadership Kentucky's needed in this particularly very difficult time. We want him to know that everyone is not in support of hanging effigies in trees and trying to bash his name. We may not agree with the governor, but it doesn't mean that we can't respect him and we can't honor the position that he's diligently trying to uphold. We're going to have an Andy Bashir Day, and we're going to make a great documentary. We'll send that along with the Lord of Calvert, along with some handwritten cards to the governor, letting him know that we appreciate him. So we'll be starting to advertise that in the next few days, just so you know what that's all about. And we're making that happen. They've been good to us. The airport resignation, the $2+ million in the airport funding, all of that's very, very good for us. And I appreciate what he's doing to help us stay abreast of those issues. Blair, what else we have that's in the pending work out there? Big celebration for the 150th year. We talked about that the other day in the budget exercise, but we'll go back and reiterate again. We're talking about bringing on that day something we've never done before, having national talent in the park. We're talking about somebody like, and Blair's already doing the research, somebody like a Rhonda Vincent in the Rage, somebody who's going to draw thousands of people to our city simply by their name recognition alone. And Blair has a gigantic Ferris wheel. How tall is that thing, Blair?
Can't remember.
50 feet, 100 feet,
50 feet.
75 feet, 250 feet, Empire State Building. It's a huge, huge Ferris wheel and a new whole set of novelty areas for a shopping spree in Memorial Park. We have some assistance that will come to us in that funding, and I'm very comfortable with that. But just so you know, this is going to be one celebration that we'll never forget. It's going to be awesome. And Blair's already moving forward with some other people getting ready to be on board and getting this planning exercise going. Because it won't take long for 1 year to pass. Next July is right here, and we have to be ready for it now. So we're moving at it.
We
Barring no
also,
epidemic.
on Friday, we're going to have our first meeting about Wings and Wheels in Calvert City. So having an air show of some sorts in the near future, once everything's settled and we get the airport up and rolling, but we
Yeah.
want to be ready to go for that.
Yeah, and we'd love to have had an air show this year, but being their late work in that airport resurface program, that's going to be very difficult for it to occur because we're just not going to have everything in place, but we're working at it.
Blair,
Good deal.
what was that name you just said?
Which one?
Wings and Wheels. So it's a combination of an airport, your air show, and then also on the ground car show.
Okay.
Hang on a minute. So is that a common name, Wings and Wheels?
Yeah.
Okay. Ballard County's got a bicycle festival named Wheels and Wings. Just look into
Wheels
that.
and Wings.
Yeah, they do a springtime bicycle ride and they got a logo with it. Called it Wheels and Wings, I think's the name of it.
Wonder
Maybe
what the
ducks
wings
and
have to do with.
Ducks and bicycles.
Ducks and bicycles. That's the only thing there is in Ballard County is ducks, and that's only in the wintertime. I guess they got bikes in the summer. But it's the name of a festival they have. You may want to check it out.
Okay.
Okay, anybody have any other questions for Blair? Good job, girl. Thanks.
All right. See you guys.
Hi, Blair.
Hi, Blair.
Okay, John, you'll give the progress report.
Okay, we're wrapping up this year's projects, finishing up the fire training center. They put the roof on the storage building. That completes that building. We're putting the roof and finishing touches to the pavilion. May have finished that today. I haven't had a chance to talk to Bob, so I'm not sure where he's finished up, but we were very close.
Not hard. He got the roof. He still likes a little bit of the soffit on the outside.
Okay, so we should finish that up this week. So we'll be done in the fire training center. Down in the parks, we've got the lights and the new lights, those 4 new lights installed for both west and east. We had 2 in the front on the east side, 2 on the west side at the back on the south side.
Which park is that?
Working.
Memorial
Park, yeah. And then on the Doctor's Park, we've completed the lighting, all the pavilions over there with LED lighting. We've got that completed. We've still got to, we're going to build or construct a pitcher's mound on field 4, as opposed to trying to replace it with a modular one or a movable one. Old Park. Oh, and we've ordered bleachers, some new bleachers that are conforming to the compliance. We have some bleachers down there that we're trying to get moved out because they're not really in compliance with safety standards. So we're moving those out. We've got those others ordered. Matter of fact, they'll be in this week. We've got contracts let with Central Paving to pave the parking lot at the airport, and also to paint the directional arrows on the pavement at the cemetery. That should be finishing up this year as well. The TAP grant or TAP funding, currently the BFW has submitted our environmental. It's at the state for approval, so we can go. Once that's approved, then they'll move us to the next phase, whatever the next phase is in that. So
I guess the question is, John, are we going to get that trail finished this year?
Well, good question.
That's about a 16-year project. That's so irritating to me.
Well, I mean, it's the BFW's working on it. They're not sitting on it. They're moving it. Right now, it's back in the
I understand. I know, but I mean, getting $500,000 is nice to get $500,000, but if it puts us behind 2 years, that doesn't help us. And people are sort of getting discouraged and disgruntled because that hasn't been completed timely with the 62 project. We've got a big gap in there, and it's our fault. So, okay. Just stay on there, butts, much as you can.
All right. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the project right now. We've got down in the old park, we've completed the parking lot down there. It's got the parking bumpers for both the new parking area down there and also for the disc golf parking area.
Now, how about this building, John, and the roof and the water problem? Are we about ready to have a contractor look at that and give us some going forward figures?
On what now?
On this building and your water drainage problems? Are we about at the place where we can get a contractor looking at that?
We've already had somebody in here. That's where we got the quotes on them for the amounts.
Okay.
So
That's what you use in the budget figure.
Yeah, but money's in the budget. We've had both a roofing contractor and then a siding contractor look at it.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, that's a priority project right there. Okay. Anything else for John? Brad, do you have anything to add to that?
I think he covered everything.
Okay. Well, you look pretty serious there. Like you're thinking about those faulty bleachers that don't meet compliance. Looks like that bothers you.
Notice the extra lights down in Memorial Park.
Pardon?
I said it. We've noticed the extra lights in Memorial Park.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're good.
Hey, John, did we ever get the plaque for Dave's bench? I've asked a couple of times.
Yeah, I think it's in. Well, I know it's been ordered. I think it's come in, but I don't know that for a fact.
I know you asked Brad to look for it.
we've ordered it, but
Yeah.
I thought it had been ordered previously, but apparently it had not. And I went back and double checked, but it has been ordered now. So I know that for a fact.
Yeah, because you talked to me about it last fall. And
Yeah.
I thought
It
that-
didn't get ordered until this year. Apparently, I thought I ordered it last year and it got tied up. I was working on the Coat Bench and a couple others and then trying to open up some more locations. And I think it got mixed up in it. And I ordered it this year. So I know
Okay.
it's ordered, but I don't, do you know, Brad, if it's come in?
I do not know. I had them look for it there and I don't think it was at the park, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Brad.
But it's been ordered, so it should be in soon.
Okay.
Blair, are you still on here?
What are you doing?
Blair?
I'm here.
Good.
Oh,
I can't see you.
Do you really want to see me?
Yeah. No, I guess to be honest with you, no, I really don't care about that. But here's what I do want you to tell me something.
She has to stay
Okay.
for the duration since she's the chief monitor here.
Yeah. Why don't you tell the council the opening issues related to the parks coming back open and what you're doing to move that forward? So people can start playing tennis again and basketball and those things in the park. So they'll know what's happening. Maybe I won't see you now. There you are.
I feel like that's a John question, not me, or you. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you real quick.
John's promised me the tennis courts will be open the 15th to the plant guy.
I don't see any reason we can't open them now. There's no limitations. 10 people, well, you don't have more than 10 people in there playing. We can post a sign, no more than 10 on the court at a time. That's a real simple solution. But I don't think why we can't, because what we're doing is, even in the basketball court, all we're doing is people who go up there to shoot basketball, one or two guys can't play, go up there and shoot one or two guys because there's going to be 25,000 fans standing around watching. Let's open the parks, post the signs, and let the citizens take some responsibility for their own lives. I don't think there's a problem with that.
I agree. That's not including the splash pad, or is it? I wish we could, the splash pad.
Oh, yes, it is. Well, splash pad, same thing. Post a sign, please no more than 10 people in the pad at the time. There's never more than 10 people in that pad at a time. That's the schools up there. I mean, we can have a little more responsibility for the citizens. They ought to have some responsibility for their own lives. And we can post in measures of what the safeguards are and follow the safeguards, just post it. Open those things up.
With something like a splash pad, there's probably state guidelines at this time. I mean, they're touching on everything else, right?
It's 10 people.
That's all.
10 people.
Put up a sign,
It's
10
one of those
people, and
close
smile at your
contact.
own camera.
Yeah. It's one of those 10 contact things. The
Are
same
we
with the
under-
basketball courts. I understand the basketball because it is a contact sport. I understand. But if we post a sign, here are the safeguards. Here's what you got to follow. And you say, well, they're not going to follow them. People don't drive 55 mile an hour down the road either. And we don't pull over everybody and give everybody a ticket.
I do.
You do.
Are we just talking about sports things, or are we talking about playground equipment as well?
I'm talking about playground equipment as well.
Do we have any
well,
obligation to clean or sanitize
we will
that?
do that. We'll go in weekly and sanitize. Just spray it down with a bleach water chemical. All you can do. I mean, can you imagine how many kids are out there playing? Can you sanitize? Any place where children are playing?
Well, yeah, I just saw that I think Mike Miller Park released something they were sanitizing periodically. So that's all.
Yeah, that's what you do. Just period. That's all you can do.
That Mike Miller Park opened theirs last week. They opened their playground last week.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, I think we do all of it. We just want to have our signs posted and move from that point. Because other people are opening up and we're lagging behind. And I know we're trying to be responsible and we're trying to accommodate the standards. And when I'm talking about breaking a standard, I'm just saying let's let the citizen decide. There are 10 of you going to play basketball, 10's maximum. Don't put 12 people in the court. If you do, well, what are you going to do? Put them in prison?
No.
Come on. This is America. We still have some freedom. Yeah, we still have some freedoms. Playing basketball is a good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd
Okay,
support
so
all.
we're gonna move forward. Unless the council has an objection, we're gonna go ahead and move forward to getting these things open and getting those signs posted.
On that sort of action, one of the things we did on emergency power, Mayor, didn't we, we kind of, that thing's still in effect, I guess, right? You make those decisions. I mean, Andy has been on TV giving guidelines on everything under the sun. I thought that was on some of these things that he was putting out as well.
Yes, and we do have a standard. That's what we're going by. When I say 10 people in a congregational group, that's his standard currently.
We could always call it a protest.
Pardon?
We could always call it a protest and they can have as many as they want. Joke.
Little levity.
Maybe the mayor's having a protest right now.
That's right. I think what Gene's saying, you have the power to do it now because we gave you the power.
We gave you the power. Go ahead.
Well, I mean,
wow.
Move on.
I hear a common voice in the council's comments that we're all in favor of doing it as quickly as we can. I mean, I'm hearing that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, do what you can as fast as you can do it without, certainly don't want to be seen as lagging, but like you said, people have to make up their own minds
and hope that our citizens are responsible and don't have a party of 20 under the pavilion as soon as we let her rip.
Yeah, but I guarantee you there are going to be people like the ones who are posting on my website and on Facebook who are griping and complaining.
Yeah.
The very reason the standards have to be there is for those folks. Because they are just
self-polices, like the public opinion polices them because everybody knows the numbers.
That's what you hope, yeah. That's what you hope. If you see somebody doing something, but the people, come on, guys, don't mess up everything for the rest of us. Okay, well, we're going to move forward on that and make it happen. So I can play basketball and tennis and walk and do some other things.
How many people are in a pickleball crowd?
4.
Not very many.
6.
Okay.
I'm ready to get back to hugging and getting over with. Let's go.
Okay, let's get right on down to the budget. The cost of hugging. What's that cost? I wonder.
It don't matter.
Okay. Executive session for the proposed discussion of property acquisition. We just need to do here so we can protect the issue that may be before us in litigation. Or you want to read that and we'll go into executive session and that'll finish everything on the budget. Oh, I'll tell you what, before we do that, does any member of the council have something you want to talk about particularly? Anything else you want to bring up? Nita, anything you want to bring up?
No, I'm good.
Kevin?
I'm good.
Kevin's good.
Move on.
Tanera?
I think I'm good. Mr. Anderson had said something to me today, asking me if I received his letter that he'd mailed out the council, and I did receive his letter, and I had not opened it until he said something today. So I opened it today, and I was hoping everyone else received his letter as well.
Very nice.
We did. Very nice. Tell him thank you.
And I, of course, we've all followed, I know closely, the issue in the school system of the resource officers in the school and the continued dialogue that's occurring within the county government and the school system. Calvert City was initially in a meeting with the school superintendent, with the county judge, with the mayor of Benton, in a discussion toward that resource officer and the funding of that officer. I pointed out to the judge that the city of Calvert and the city of Benton both have limitations to how they can use city tax revenue for a county tax revenue service. In fact, Greg will tell you that's extremely difficult to do. But the judge, in his wisdom with law, has determined that he is better qualified to know that that's not true, that you can do it, and therefore he is sort of continuing to move that ball forward, simply saying that the cities are refusing to do it because they don't want to spend the money. I am going to be having a conversation with Trent Lovett, just with Trent, to talk about that a little further, and I'll be getting back with you after I talk with Trent. So that issue is still out there. It is still being bounced around. We do
And
want our children protected.
Yes, in Calvert City Elementary, as of this year, we have a very nice office that is just awaiting for an officer.
Yeah, good. Well, I have an idea, and part of the idea I'll just share with you, that if Calvert City is going to be involved in that process, that officer will have to be a Calvert City officer who answers directly and solely to the chief, who is assigned by the chief to the capacity, and who is not at all answerable to the school system. He simply is a guard, a safeguard for the school system. It's going to have to be very strongly controlled our way, where that tax money issue is going to be a problem. So we'll get back to that and we'll talk about it, so the council can talk about what the options are and how we want to move forward. I know we all support it. It's just a matter of how do we support it. Okay, Greg, you want to call us into executive session? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Chris, you have anything
No,
else?
I'm good. I'm good.
Anybody? Jeremy?
I'm good.
Okay, anybody?
Okay.
We
Gene?
covered the issue. We covered the issues on reopening that, that I wanted to talk about primarily. Other things are, I think that the employees are doing a good job of keeping the place up despite all the things going on. And I appreciate Brad's hard work for sure. And the end of the year rush doesn't come with as much pain because we don't have to get the grass perfect for Celebration this year, but we've got some good lights hooked up and stuff. Appreciate that move. So good work.
Anybody have anything else? Okay, Greg, can you get us into executive session so we can quickly talk about this property?
Sure. The purpose for the executive session is to discuss the potential acquisition of real property. The section of the statute that allows this discussion to be held in the executive session is KRS 61.810, subsection 1, subparagraph B. The reason for the purpose for the section and for the executive session is to protect the value of the property. Having made that announcement, we can now entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
A second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second. So let's go into executive session. And the piece of property we're discussing